Hello from Houston, an inspirational and exciting scene here. NASA unveiling its new crew, 4 astronauts for the Artemis II program. That includes 1 woman and 3 men, the pilot, an African-American man. So we're making history here, folks. When this launch takes place, he will have the first person of color to orbit the moon and the first woman to orbit the moon. Also, the crew will be the first people in more than 50 years to leave the Earth's orbit for a trip around the moon and then back home. The crew is made up of 3 Americans and 1 Canadian. This is the next milestone before NASA will land people on the moon, and the agency saying that the mission will feature women and people of color for the first time walking on the lunar surface. The motto they're delivering for this crew unveil: for all humanity. And that's a message that shows inclusivity, but also recognition that diversity brings talent, new talent that is, to the space program. Next year, Artemis will be the first crewed flight to test to the moon's orbit on the ORION space capsule. The entire trip should take 10 days, featuring a high Earth orbit to test the systems and then on to the moon. The goal is to build NASA's path for a long-term scientific and human presence on the lunar surface.
We need to celebrate this moment in human history, because Artemis II is more than a mission to the moon and back. It's more than a mission that has to happen before we send people to the surface of the moon. It is the next step on the journey that gets humanity to Mars.
It will be a 4-day journey going 250,000 miles, continuing to test out every bit of Orion, going around the far side of the moon, heading home, going through the Earth's atmosphere at over 25,000 miles per hour and splashing down in the Pacific. So, am I excited? Absolutely.
And when they come home in the space capsule, the crew will use the moon's gravity to slingshot that Orion capsule back to planet Earth. This will be the first moon mission since the conclusion of the Apollo program in 1972. NASA hopes to have Artemis II up and launched by November 2024. John Moan, Scripps News, Houston.